Why do I always wait till forever to film these? I do this to myself every time. Oh gosh, I'm so out of practice. Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Crystal and this is Books Forever After, where I sit on my floor and we talk about everything and all things books and nothing but the books. Wow, I swear I just filmed last week. I feel out of practice. By the time you're seeing this video, it's probably been a month since I filmed my July TBR, in fact. And now we're going to be talking about today. We're gonna do a double match wrap up. I don't know what the what it is. Phrases, words, they just, what are words? Apparently they mean a lot, especially when you're trying to convey words when I hit play. I'm just a hot mess, guys. With that said, I thought I filmed about a week ago, but maybe it's been a couple weeks. I've been filming, I just haven't been editing. I digress, that is not what you're here for. You are here for a wrap up. We're going to talk about no, not January. May. God, what year am I in? We are going to be doing May and June. I got it. Reading wrap up. Oh gosh. What was that? Okay, I think that was my dishwasher. Oh, by the way, sidetracked. I did finish reorganizing my bookshelves, so yay me. Only took a couple months. Wanted to put it out there because I'm excited about it. Feel accomplished, and I really like how they look right now. So yeah, just I'm getting things accomplished just slowly. Enough about me like just loving my shelves. The other thing that happened, so rolling back to when I started this whole shenanigans of the reorg was for May and my May reading. And what happened in May is we had the Afterathon, and that is the readathon that I created, and I had my co-host join. And it is a team-based readathon focused on historical romance. However, open to all sorts of romance, all sorts of genres. You just get more points for historical romance. That was a lot of fun. And this year I didn't get really into a slump because I allowed myself to actually read something, a different genre, because I am a mood reader. If I don't want to read something, I always want spontaneity or have structure. I'm really a living, breathing oxymoron. That's also probably because I'm a Gemini. Let's be honest. I have a dual person split whole thing. Is I want structure, but then I want freedom and chaos and creativity. It is diabolically hilarious to match it all up. And it showcases in my reading. So because of that, I was able to enjoy the historical romances. I didn't really find an absolute love, but that's okay. I did reread one that was a 6-star. I do also have I did a HEA or history, I think episode 2. So my most recent one, I will link that down in the description box. That is where I went all the historical romance. So if you want to learn more of my thoughts into that and it's more in-depth conversations and whatnot, you just, the reading diaries per se, how you do that. So those are all historical romances, so you can get more if you want to get, you can go watch that video after this one if you want to get some more information, some more fun times. I don't know. Vlogs, I seem to enjoy vlogs too as well, just as a watcher. Am I great at doing them? That's a whole nother question, and I will leave that to you to tell me so. I do enjoy them when I remember to film. But editing, I will say, editing a vlog is so much easier when you just do clips and you just put them all together. Remembering to do those clips, another thing entirely. Oh gosh, how long have I been rambling? Goodness me. Okay, so for May, we had the Afterathon, and in the month of May, I luckily didn't DNF any books. So I read 9 books, and this whole year, that's a feat because I've just been reading 5 to 6 at this moment in time, at max 8, and I haven't hit 8 in a while. So the fact that I got to read 8 is a feat in itself. Oh no, I did DNF 1. I lied. No, yeah, freaking A. I did read 8 though. Did that work? So I read 8. Oh gosh, I'm so delulu. I can't even read my own writing. That's hilarious. Okay. Well, I just need to continue on. Alright, so the first one that I finished was a banger. We started out strong. It was the one that I really wanted to prioritize and read, and because it also would help me continue on in the series, and that was Lady Isabella Scandalous Marriage by Jennifer Ashley. And this was also the team artist book. So this year I let the, I had the co-host for each team. There's 2 co-hosts. Pick a book for their team. This one was a team artist, and it was also an artist hero, and he is a painter artist. And this was a second chance, Marriage in Trouble, and I just loved this so much. Isabella and Mac, see, got it. Isabella and Mac have been separated for about 8 years, and you see them from the couple from the first book. And when they've been separated and they come back together, I have to say the intro into this was peak instant angst and just, the hurt. Because I don't know how it's so hard with the second chance or Marriage in Trouble. The author was able to build that in because you could feel what the heroine was feeling. And because you don't really know that entirely what happened between them, you learn that in this. It's something that is actually believable, that would make sense on like something that they went through, and as well as something he is struggling with that impedes their marriage and the communication. It just seemed something that deteriorated, and I found that to be so realistic and just so able to connect to that because it was so realistic. So there are some trigger warnings as well. There is, if it's a spoiler or not, so if you don't want to get the spoilers, I would say skip 10 seconds above. But there is, he struggles with, back in that day, alcoholism, and also with her, they lost a child, like, she miscarried. No, I think she's like, yeah, almost full term, like it was like stillborn. And he wasn't there for her because he was off Gavilanti. So what would happen is they would fight. He would just get like not needing to sit or whatever, and like go drinking, and then they would have an argument. He would just disappear and go drinking, whatever, and she wouldn't see him for weeks, and then he would show up. Well, when he was gone for one of those weeks, she was pregnant, and something, that kind of thing happened. So I really enjoyed this whole, like, that whole story, their struggles. There was still, like, so much yearning. And when the spicy scenes were spicing, they were spicing. I would say this is the 2 spice ratings. It is another one to where it had a rendezvous tryst. It's where they have a thing outside of the bedroom thing, which I adored. This is just an overall great book. The first book was 5 stars. Lord Ian McKenzie, The Madness of Lord Ian McKenzie, and I don't know, there's just something about these that are angsty. They have a little bit of a mystery plot as well, so she's helping him trying to find I forget what it's called. Someone is copying his paintings and signing them as him, so theft, whatever it is. I don't know why are the words not coming to me. I'll put it on the screen. And he uses a very specific yellow of paint color as well, and so it's coming, so they're trying to discover who's doing it, and he doesn't actually sell his paintings anyway, so he's like, I don't really care about that, and he just does it for the passion of his art. But there's a little bit more of a mystery plot, little like action-y, that kind of a thing, but it was really, really well done. This has it's angsty, it's a little bit gritty, so it's a little bit like tinge of dark because of that mystery and such, but it is just such a good book, and I can't wait to continue on the third one. I'll put a picture up there. I don't remember what that one is, but I have that one. I don't know. Like I say, I always struggle with when, like, having the urge to immediately read a book, but then I'm like, I want to savor it. It's a continuous struggle. But yes, 5-star. Absolutely love this. The next one that I read was Sherry Thomas, was Beguiling the Beauty by Sherry Thomas. I thought that this was a Beauty and Beast retelling for some reason in my brain, probably because it said beauty on it. This actually had like a steamboat kind of a thing. The hero resents her beauty because she's a little bit like slightly older than him. She's been married twice, and her first husband kind of realized that the hero had a crush on his wife, and, you know, kind of said some derogatory things about his wife, and just overall like how she's just, you know, whatever. But in reality, she's not like that at all. He's very abusive and whatnot. So it was just very interesting, and for some reason the hero just took that to believe the hero, whatever. But he almost hated the heroine because he was just so attracted to her beauty and this whole thing. So he really didn't see the heroine as a person. And that kind of carries through the book. This is a very short book as well, so I think that's also why it wasn't an absolute favorite of mine, so I did enjoy it. The heroine is also a blue stocking heroine. The hero is a academic hero. He isn't necessarily a professor, but he does do a lecture. He does a lecture in Boston, I believe, and the heroine was attending that. And during that whole lecture, the hero had mentioned something, I think it was like something about like psychology or something like that, had mentioned and somehow alludes to the heroine and talks about her. And then some of the people that were in London were there that knew about the upper echelon or whatever, because I think he's like a duke or whatever, realize that it's her that he's talking about. And so that gives, you know, a besmirch to her reputation. The whole thing. Obviously, she is PO'd. Like, really? So she basically goes on a vendetta to kind of seduce him on this steamboat. But throughout the whole thing, she wants him to fall in love with whatever. She's just wearing this like hat that has like a veil through the whole time. And then she is nervous enough that she impersonates herself as a German person. She knows German. And so she's just speaking German the whole time, and he doesn't know that it's her. So it has a hidden identity. It was good enough. It wasn't great, just because of the fact that it was very, very short. It was very, didn't have enough time to actually get a little bit more deeper. And the hero was pretty much just saw her as very just surface level, like beauty is skin deep, that whole thing. I just didn't like that whole part of it. Other than that, I really enjoyed it. The next one that I read was The Last Lady Bee by Eloisa James. This was our readathon book, so I wanted to pick a book that was part of the theme for the readathon. That was a new release that was coming out in May. So that was the whole point, so that we can help authors during the month of May and that whole thing. So to make one of those books the readathon book. And this was releasing in May 12th. I had pre-ordered this from the Ripped Bodice in Brooklyn, and Brooklyn, New York. And yeah, it came signed and everything, and it came with like this bookmark and everything. You have that. This was a parody of like a gothic rom-com. It also had a different type of writing besides the more modern type of writing that Eloisa James has already been kind of shifting towards, that we saw in her previous series that she published. This one really went in what she calls meta. Where basically in the parentheses, the heroine is speaking to the reader, breaking the fourth wall, so to speak. And that is something that I did not like. It felt redundant and repetitive, and just like the reader wasn't smart enough to kind of get any sort of subtext or context, whatever that is. So that is what I didn't like. The romance was also very surface level and whatnot. With that said, it was a 4-star because I really enjoyed through most of this book. It was just a fun time, and the writing was fun. besides that whole meta type of situation. It's also, I think the author had mentioned that this was going to be a gothic parody, and it's inspired because the Northanger Abbey is a gothic kind of parody that Jane Austen wrote. So it's kind of in that it's in that same vein. She does have a pet pig. I enjoyed that, although at about the 50% mark that kind of like drops off. So I think that's why like 50% kind of just, I'm not sure. There's a mystery plot. There's other things that happen. It just felt like also like the hero simped so hard that it just, you couldn't really get more of a developed character. I did enjoy the house party kind of feeling, and I think that is where the push come to shove kind of feeling of this book is because of that. Depending on what you're looking for in a historical romance, you're either gonna like this, or you're not gonna like it. It's just like love it or not like it. I'm kind of in the middle. I think this one's gonna probably be very lukewarm reception, because it just depends on what kind of a reader and things that you enjoy. This was fun. I enjoyed it. I'm just not, because even speaking about it, I'm almost thinking of doing this like a 3-star, because how much I did not enjoy that style of writing, the meta. Just wasn't a fan of that style. And mainly because it also, besides it being a gothic parody, it just makes it feel like it was laughing at the reader for liking romance. Like, it was just weird. I don't know. Gothic parody, whatever, can kind of go the wrong and hit a wrong chord. It can come across as in poor taste sometimes. I don't know how else to say that. That it can come across as it's making fun of the reader versus being funny and comedic. So there's that kind of level of differences for that one. The next one that we read was I read The Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. This is a classic novel, Jane Austen. 2 stars. I will link the live show that we did. This is part of a Jane Austen read-along that I am doing with a few other YouTubers. Corralled by B from Mom Needs to Read Romance. She kind of put this whole thing together, kind of organized this whole thing together for us. This is the first one that I haven't read. The first 2 I have, Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility. Did not like this. Another sort of house party. Everyone was horrible and just not great. Poor Fanny. That's all I have to say is poor Fanny. For some reason, the night of the play thing, that took most of the book. I don't know how, but it did. So yeah, I just did not enjoy this. So yeah, 2-star. Next was a reread. I did a reread of my 6-star book. That's who I am. Yeah. So I love this book. Obviously, it's My Darling Duke by Stacey Reid. This is a Beauty Beast retelling. I've spoken to it about before so many times, but this I really enjoyed, and the reason why I wanted to reread it is because, I don't know, I love Stacey Reid, and I wanted to really continue on to the second one. I just wanted a refresh of like her writing style because I just enjoyed it too. And so, man, Stacey Reid can write. The emotional, for a modern, like, as we were talking about comparing to like Eloisa James, a more modern style of writing where it works because we didn't lose the romance. We didn't lose the romance and the yearning and that character work that she does, and still making the plot interesting and the interactions. So chef's kiss. Stacey Reid is amazing. She's one of my all-time favorite historical romance authors, and I just need to continue more. I need to continue on to more of her books. Next, the other one that also I won't speak too much about. It was Our Mood Reader Book Club for May, and it was To Heist and to Hold. It was a spy romance. I think she's a spy, and I only made it to 10% at DNF. I really just, even through the first, I couldn't barely go through the second chapter, to be honest. Very slow, sluggish writing, wasn't very well done with the setting, and because of that writing style, the prose and such, and just the lack of setting, I felt like, and just pulling me in as a reader. Other than that, there's not much I can tell you about this book. It was just, I could barely even get into it before I DNF'd, because the 10% took about a week probably, and that is saying something. So I don't know. I don't think Christina Britton might not, she might be an author that might not be for me. I don't know if I've read or tried to read another book by her, but so far, not working. And I don't know if you have a recommendation by her that you really enjoy, that you think I will enjoy, especially if you know my taste, if you've been watching for a while. Let me know if there is a book by Christina Britton that you think I will enjoy. The next book that I read was Redemption by Nikki Sloan. This is the 4th book in this series. The first 3 is kind of like an arc of the first couple. This is the redemption arc for the kind of villain for their story, which is his dad. So this is his story. This is an age gap. This was really good. I think I rated this one. Yeah, this was a 4-star. I really enjoy Nikki Sloan's writing, and this one I actually got from her website. So I think I have one more book that's part of this series, but you know, it's interconnected, so I don't know. And I think it's the brother I think we're following. Yeah, I think it's the brother story in that one. I just really enjoyed it. It wasn't the best, especially with all the scandals that like happened before. It was still good. It also was a workplace romance, because she has to come to work with him, which was eerily similar to the other one where she was working for him as well. The heroine in here is also known to the heroine in that one. It was good. I don't remember exactly at this time what I truly thought, because it's a 4-star read. It was good in the moment, but I don't remember all the details afterward. But essentially, the long and the short of it is like she helped bring his his reputation back, that whole thing too as well. So she's like helping him with that. So that was that one. And then the next one I don't have our own, but I borrowed it from the library, and that was our the Palace of Rogues, part of our Palace of Rogues read along that I'm doing with Tara from Tara Talks Books. It was After Dark with the Duke, every time. After Dark with the Duke, you know, the Christmas one. It looks like it's a Christmas one, but it is not a Christmas one. I don't know why. This one was a 4-star read for me. This one is following a opera singer and I think it has a bit of an age gap as well. It's the Duke from one of the military friends of Hardy, I think his name is, from the previous ones. Again, this whole series is just found family. I love it. The whole thing. It's a thing. The only downside is you do kind of have to read the ones before to get more like kind of context and things like that, especially with all the developed characters and such like that on the background of it. Still so good. But they start with a little bit of like hate to love kind of a thing, because they start off on like the wrong foot, and sort of he has a bit of a presumption, like prejudice against her, like assuming who she is, like an actress, mistress, that sort of thing. And he was like a general in that whole thing, like war hero, that whole thing. And he is there to like write his memoirs or his book and such like that. But he's going through some writer's block because of that. They are starting off the wrong foot, kind of insulting. She is just kind of making fun of him as well, and she's being asked to sing and with the group and such like that in the study or whatever, and she kind of makes fun of him. He makes a joke or something like that kind of really digs at her, you know, lot in life or whatever that is, that assumption, and it really took it too far. Well, because he took it so far, he actually, and one of it is because she is able to sing Italian, but she doesn't understand it in translation. And she's really struggling because she's an opera singer, that men come on to her and she obviously doesn't want that attention. But she has, as a woman, you kind of have to play nice in the whole thing sometimes, and for her own safety. And because they're also paying her paycheck and the whole thing. So she has to walk this very fine line. And it's very frustrating and annoying for her that she doesn't isn't able to understand what they're saying and know how to speak in Italian to kind of put them off from what she's saying. And so she shows up with lessons with him on Italian lessons and that whole thing, and that is how they start to fall in love. The book ends with a grand gesture that I love. Really enjoyed that as well. Overall, really good. And I would recommend this series for sure. I've been really enjoying doing this read along with Tara. As the time that you're seeing this, I can't believe that we have only 3 more books left to do. It's just been really enjoyable. And then lastly, in May, I had done a reread of This is the Frenchman by Jana Darling. When I had read it, it was named, I think, something else, but it's part of the Sinners trilogy or something like that. First time I devoured this. This is like a forbidden romance. There is cheating in here. The two are cheating against someone else that you find in here. And there's a lot of angst in the second one. I just remember there's so much angst. I really enjoyed Jana Darling's writing overall. And the other 2 sister stories are literally my 6-star reads. I love those books. So those are more mafia romance, really, really, really dark and edgy. This one is a bit of a darker edge as well, but it's more like BDSM and more angsty and toxic. Definitely toxic. Reading it the second time around, and I think I read this back, I want to say back in 2022. This was a bit annoying in the first one. It was kind of dumb. So first time I read it, 5 stars. This time that I read it, 3 stars. Mainly because the hero was just so dumb. The whole reason for the cheating was so dumb. It was just, there was no like call out on the hero. It was just like they're just so drawn, and they had this animalistic or just like almost soul-naming connection, that the whole thing. But I would at least hit the brakes a little bit when I find out that he has a girlfriend. Like, why wouldn't you address that? I just don't know. So he just proposes for their week-long vacation that they somehow are there at the same time. I think it's somewhere in the French Riviera, I think, or Nice. Was it Nice? I don't remember where exactly they're at. Maybe Caribbean, somewhere warm. So he proposes that they just have an affair during that time, and she knows that, they both know that he has a girlfriend. She's been living in France, so he's also French. So, she's traveling from France to wherever she's going. And then she's going to go back to New York and then finally be reconnected with her family and that whole thing. So you can see how things sort of evolve into this whole book and that whole thing. So, second book is you find out who his girlfriend is. So yeah, there's a bit of angst and that whole thing, and I just thought it was kind of really dumb. And that because of all that, I wasn't really caring about the other intimate scenes and the whole thing. I believe I'm going to continue on into the second one and see how I like the reread on that one. And because I enjoyed that one the most last time, if I don't enjoy it this time around, I'm really probably just going to DNF this series and just pick it up and just go on to the series. I really love the sisters. Alright, for June. For June, I read I read 8 books, and one of those I DNF'd. The first book that I read, which I don't think I own anymore, was the Never Seduce a Scot by Maya Banks. This was for the Tea and Biscuits book club with Tara and B. This was a 5-star. This is a Scottish Highland romance. The heroine is deaf. Her whole family and things like that, they kind of protect her because they think that because she's deaf from this illness or injury from when she was a child, they think that made her just not all there together. She was meant to have to be forced to engage. She wasn't a child. She was actually engaged with someone else, and then she had that accident. But either way, the one that she was betrothed to was just not a kind person and basically very abusive and was saying no one's gonna believe you and that whole thing. Because, they don't believe, even though her family words aren't gonna believe that he is who he is. But she does end up getting engaged, I think, to help with, she gets engaged to this warring clan because there's all this kind of attention thing. And I believe the king forces them to do that because of the issues that it was causing. Overall, this was just 5 stars, amazing. I enjoyed it, and the hero was great, and the heroine was such a strong heroine as well, and how he just like treated her was just amazing. So 5-star, enjoyed it. There is a caretaking scene in here as well, so I mean, it was just absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed this one. Next, I didn't read these completely back to back, but I'm just gonna loop these two together, and that is Shield of Sparrows, and then I read Rights of the Starling by Devney Perry. I finally read these, and I think the third one of this one is going to be releasing in March of next year, and you know me, I like to wait at least until hopefully like the final book is going to be coming up soon. I probably should have waited until maybe March of next year to do it, but I don't know, I'm just hearing such good things about this series. I really enjoyed it. The sprayed edges are so gorgeous, but this was so good. All the hype there. Both of these were 5 stars. Both of these were 5 stars. There is this monster, these whole monster things that's going on, and there is a clause with like the Shield of Sparrows to where one of like the princesses have to marry, I think during some sort of time of the year, whatever it is, how many years, whatever it is, to marry a prince of, you know, have a arranged marriage with another prince or king in the kingdom. Every, I think 25 years, I think it is, or something like that, is where these monstrous birds come over and just, they're literally down for almost half of a year having to take cover and things like that. These are like, it's already brutal enough, but these monsters just destroy and that whole thing. Well, when the hero comes and picks her up, the prince that comes picks her up, he also has this other person that is like a general kind of a thing, and I don't know, I enjoyed it. It had one of my favorite kind of tropes, but it was still done that, even though I knew it was probably that it was so done very well. It was just fun. But even though it was obvious, I still felt that angst and that yearning, that like feeling when the heroine feels betrayed and whatever in this one, in the first book. And then the second one, you find out so much more. There's a couple of 2 different points of view, one in the past and one in the current time. So good, because you got to see how the past and how it lures, and how there's certain powers that be, and this magic here that happens on this world that may or may not shouldn't happen. There's different colored of eyes as well. Every like person in this land or whatever has different kinds of color of eyes, like brown or blue or whatnot. So yeah, but she doesn't have one or whatever like that. Yeah, I think she doesn't have eye color or whatever. So you find out so much in this one. Gosh, I just really enjoyed it, and I cannot wait until the 3rd book. I can't. I'm really excited for it. And then because I just had come from the Big Ohio Book Con, I was excited. I wanted to read one of these, one of the indie books. So I had picked up the Darkness Duet by K.M. Baker. This first one is Ending Darkness. This one unfortunately didn't work for me. This was a 2-star. This was a dark romance secret society. It really was so basic level. I really can't even tell you at this point either anything else about it. Just that it was very simple, very not well developed. There wasn't really much to it. Also, because of the way that the characters were written, they came across very annoying, like every single one. It just felt very, not even 2D, you know, if we're talking like 1D, that's how level of it was. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to DNF this series and not read the second one. So definitely not a hit, unfortunately, but that's okay. It is what it is. Really, that's what's gonna happen with some of these books. But I do have my Big Ohio Book Con vlog coming, and I think I might also after that start doing more of like a recap of the books that I read last year and the books that I've read since then, you know, come from this most recent one. And depending on that, I may or may not do a vlog. It just depends on if you guys want to see that or not. If you're interested in seeing like a vlog about the other books and such or the authors that I have on my list, that whole thing. So I definitely want to focus on the physical books that I have from that event, but I do have some other, I have like an Amazon list and I'm keeping track of the other ones that I wasn't able to purchase, but I'm still want to get either from the library or whatnot, or just purchase myself, depending, because right now I don't have Kindle Unlimited, but I digress on that one. But yeah, this one just really didn't work. It was, oh yeah, not good, not good. The next one that I had read was the You Were Made to Be Mine by Julianne Long. That was the next book for the read-along. 5-star. So great. This one, amazing. Hilariously, this has a spy hero. So it's almost, but we read it in June. It would have been perfect for the Afterathon to read with a spy hero. He is a spy that was, I think he was a prisoner of war situation around the Napoleonic Wars, and he had he knows that someone betrayed him, so he thinks there's like a mole or a double agent kind of a thing happening, and when he gets out, one of his nemesis or person he doesn't like, or he highly suspects is the one that betrayed him, is his fiance is missing, or the person he wants to marry is missing, and he is endeavoring the hero to go find her. And for reasons, there are reasons for why she is having to like plan why she left him. So there are other things afoot, obviously, for that. There are trigger warnings here for SA and the whole thing. But obviously for, you know, obvious reasons, another, you know, abusive guy and such there. So yeah, not great on that side, but this was great, because she doesn't know that he's the spy looking for her, and they both somehow end up at the same place at the Palace of the Thames. And this was just so great. Again, great cast of characters, everything like that. If you want full thoughts and other details in our conversation that I had with Tara on our live show, I will link that live show down below as well. And then next, geez, another bummer. This one is Blood and Betrayals by Jeanette Rose and Alexis Rune. This is Avalon University Book 1. This is a brand new release that month, in the month of June. It's a chunker. It's got sprayed edges. I picked this up on a whim because I was there to pick up, I want to say like Unsteady by Peyton Krantz. I was there and I saw that. And it was there early. So I was excited because it was also our Mood Reader Book Club book for that month. So not great. It definitely has Zodiac Academy vibes, but it is not a gothic dark academia. Like, that is not, just because it's at an academy does not make a dark academia. It is so bubblegummy. Sure, there's a murder mystery plot in it, but it's like not. It doesn't have that vibes. So annoying. Yeah, no. I will link our live show down below if you really want to know more on it, because I do go more in detail on it. I wanted to like this. I wanted to have a good time. and it did not hit. It did one of those romance storylines that I don't like, and then it was very obvious, I think, at the ending what was made decision on, and it was still super dumb and annoying. Super dumb and annoying. Because it had one of those, I think also because it had a insta-lust. I mean, it is not even 10%. Legitimately. Not even 10% if we have our like spicy scenes and everything like that. Yeah. This barely, besides the angels, this barely felt like a fantasy romance. It felt so very contemporary. Yeah. Yeah, this one's a no. Then I read Dangerous by Minerva Spencer. This was for the Tea and Biscuits book club for Tara and B, their book club. This was a 3-star for me. Ironically, when I was reading it, so I don't own it, so I had to borrow it from the library. When I was reading it, it felt like I had read it before. So either I read it before Goodreads, and I just don't remember, which is very well is likely. I think overall, and unfortunately I don't remember much, this was a 3-star. It was nothing bad, nothing great. From my enjoyment level, it was a 3-star. So it was just very middle of the road for me. Slightly, I think, boring at times and such. So I don't know, it just didn't work for me. That one was a bit of a bummer. So sometimes a 3 is great. It's literally, that's what a 3 is. It's usually because I didn't absolutely like it, like nothing was wrong with it. Most of the time, 3 is truly a middle of the road book for me. That's just all it is for the most part. So, or it's like nothing is wrong with the writing. It wasn't something that, I necessarily enjoyed 100%, but it had good parts in it that I enjoyed. That kind of a thing. And then the final book that I read in June was Nobody's Quest by Alyssa Day. I DNF'd this one at 16%. This one is, obviously she's going on a quest, and everyone has to touch this key in order to save the kingdom or whatever. But whoever touches this key dies. They can die. So you have to be basically the chosen one sort of thing. And she is literally nobody, and there's a whole thing. There's some very obvious things with that as well. I just could not get into it. It just had, this author was also at the Big Ohio Book Con. So on one side, I'm glad that I didn't purchase a book and I got it from my library. On the other hand, I am kind of sad. I do have the book plate that did get signed, so I will probably put that in somewhere at like a bookstore for somebody, but I just did not enjoy this one. The writing, it was one of those where I could see it literally was just like any other romantasy with nothing unique about it. And I mean, bare minimum, the writing style and the prose, so tacky and cheesy. That's what it came across, was tacky and cheesy. Unfortunately, it just didn't work for me. It was just very, very obvious in the way it was written, especially how it was starting to describe the hero. It didn't work. It was fine for the first few chapters, but then after that, I think it's like chapter 4 that I had stopped. It just did not work. Yeah, so. Alright, so, oh gosh, this video is probably long, but, that's what happens when you do more than 1 month. And surprisingly, I did read at least probably, 7 and 8 there, so that's 15 books in 2 months, so that wasn't too bad. A couple more I had DNF'd, but yeah, there it is. I will link everything down below my description box. My Goodreads, my Instagram, and my bookish wish list, as well as please don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked this video, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified for every time I post. And with that, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.